Yeah, I was spending a lot of time at the open houses lately. And while it hasn't been said explicitly, I certainly get the vibe that folks are a little nervous about making a home investment right now. And listen, I get it. I do. Look at the environment, right? We have unprecedented home value growth. We've been in a downward slide for the last couple of months. Interest rates have doubled in a lot of cases. And then on top of that, we have the home insurance companies putting forth some interesting barriers for my homeowners to contend with. So is it safe in this environment to make a decision about your retirement years and your retirement monies? Is it safe to make that investment? Yeah, it probably is. To understand that answer, we have to kind of go back in time for a moment. So strap in, it's story time. We're going to go back to 07, 08, a little bit into 09. And kind of an experience that I was fortunate enough to have where I truly came to understand the resiliency of this marketplace, particularly when compared to marketplaces outside the villages. This is the recession. This is the Great Recession. It's probably going to define a generation. And during this recession, the state of Florida's home market lost about 50% of its equity. Ouch. The villages only lost 15. Now 15, that's still a big deal. I mean, here in recent years, the market went up anywhere between 22 and 24%. Even the experts don't necessarily agree on what it was. We all understood the drivers behind it, but 15% is a big slide in value, in pricing. And here's the interesting part. The Villages is kind of a uniquely positioned entity on the national stage, being the number one retirement community. Being is that we have folks from all over the country feeding into our market space. So long story short, when I came online here in the Villages, late part of 09, we were already well on our way to a full recovery coming out of the recession. Years before the state of Florida would get back on its feet, the Villages was back to pre-recession home values. I have folks who say, well, if I invest now and the market continues to adjust downward, that would be somewhat foolish of me. Okay, I understand. You don't want to get out in front of it. That's okay. But that downward adjustment, in my opinion, has almost reached its end point. Maybe there's a little bit more play in the market. Maybe. But what I know about the Villages is that it tends to recover very quickly. And when it does so aggressively. So I was having a conversation the other day and I said, well, do you want to do something now or do you want to wait a year? Come back next year. It's a renter. He says, well, I'm going to come back next year. I said, okay. But just understand, between now and next year, the market could change. Probably will. And home values are going to go up again. So is it safe? I would say so. Even if the market adjusted another 10 grand in a downward direction. When it turns, the rate of return tends to be pretty high. And depending upon how much investment you make initially, you're probably going to capture that in equity within the first year, definitely within the first 2 years. And bear in mind, your ownership window tends to be 3 to 7 years depending upon the product type, whether you're being seasonal, part-time, or full-time in the Villages. So is it safe to make an investment? I would say so. If you're looking at it across multiple years. There's my thoughts on it. If you have any questions or you'd like to have a discussion around that, I'm happy to do so. Please feel free to reach out. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.